Is working from home going to cease to exist? CNBC wrote a story that 90% of companies plan to bring their employees back to the office by the end of 2024. The article gave three main reasons. One was a drop in productivity. Two was a lack of collaboration. And three, they thought there was a minimal employee engagement while employees were working from home. And my thoughts on this were pretty straightforward, and I'll tell you why if I disagree or agree with this article. But I really believe that unless your job is completely task-based with minimal thinking, where somebody could really see, did you get the job done yes, or did you get the job done no, and it's completely clerical and there's no room for advancement, then I think those jobs are always going to be remote, and they're probably going to be replaced by virtual assistants. But if your job requires a little bit more complexity than that, then this, you will probably see that you'll be called back to the office. At my company, I own an insurance agency. We have recently got an office, and we pulled everybody into the office. We were 100% virtual since we started around COVID, and I have seen an increase in productivity, morale, and revenue to the company because we've gotten back to the office. So this is why I believe, I'll give you 5 main reasons today why I believe that working in an office is a good thing for the employer, and more importantly, a good thing for the employee. Number one, there are no distractions in an office. When you're in an office, you have focused work. I've seen this in my own work since I was working from home before we went to an in-office culture, and there are so many distractions at home. You can turn on the TV, you can do your laundry, you can do so many different things. You can mow your grass. Who mows their grass at 10:30 in the middle of the day? But people working from home, they'll take a break from the computer and go do that. So there's a lot of distractions, okay? And when you're in the office, you're able to get a lot more things done because you don't have those distractions. So you have a lot more focused work. I think maybe the quantity of the work being done, it may be the same, but I think the focused work, the quality of the work is a lot better when you have no distractions around you. Number two, the culture and the vibes. This is what I really believe that an office really brings to the table is I can build a culture of winning. I can build a culture of positivity. I can build a culture of, hey, we're going to have a growth mindset here, and we're going to be able to engage our employees and motivate our employees so they're on board for the goals of that year. That's super hard to do when they're working from home because you don't know what the culture is at home. Is it negative? Is the culture just, a limited mindset? There's no positivity. There's no, engagement of motivation, motivating your employees to do more than they think they can, to become better than what they think they can, to go after something that's success, to find personalized goals. It's really hard to do that. It's really hard to have a vibe of your culture, that what you want to put forward as an employer. And I think an office, it allows you to have that culture, and it really helps you. Those employees that don't fit the culture, that don't fit the vibe, they really stick out, and then you can know if they're worth keeping around or if they're going to join the culture and join the goals at hand. So number 3 here, I think another super important one is mentorship. It is really hard to mentor somebody over Zoom. Let me provide an example. When you have in-person meetings versus over Zoom meetings, when you leave an in-person meeting, you can easily ask questions to the veterans of the company. You know what I mean? You're walking out and you're saying, hey, I had a quick question about that. A little 2 to 3 minute, 5-minute conversation that you have with somebody while you're walking out of the conference room. It allows the people of the company, the veterans, the people that have been around, the people that are mentoring the next people, allows the younger generation to basically say, hey, I have a couple questions, and that person's more approachable because when you log out of Zoom, you have to call somebody, and they may be going to another meeting, they may be going to somewhere else, but when you're walking out of a meeting, I don't know how many times before I started my company, when I was working for other people, I was able to ask those experts at the company questions because I was in that meeting, and we hopped out of the meeting. I said, what did they mean when they asked this? What did they mean when they asked that? That mentorship is super important, and those little 2 to 5 minute conversations do not occur over Zoom. So I think the mentorship aspect of working in an office is huge because you start to get a relationship with some veteran, a professional relationship of like, hey, I really want to do this. What are your thoughts on this? Those just don't happen if you're not seeing that person and that they're personable and that they're approachable. Number 4, a super important thing from the employer standpoint is an assessment of talent. Someone can hide behind a computer screen and do a good job at their work, but what is their ceiling? Are they going to be able to be a manager? Can they lead people? Are they a good leader? Are they breeding positivity throughout the day? We don't know because we only had that 30-minute Zoom call. And can they actually become a manager at your company? How do they interact with other people? How do they deal with confrontation? Those are the things that I want to see. And when they're around you for 8 hours a day, you can see the positives and maybe the negatives of their potential ceiling at your company. So that is huge from an employer standpoint. From a Zoom, you maybe have 2 or 3 meetings with that person a day, and they maybe come off and look really professional, but are they really good? Or maybe people don't come off very good on Zoom, and there actually would be a great in-person manager, but you're not giving that opportunity because you're 100% remote. Number 5 is a lack of engagement. You can see who's excited, who's fired up, who's ready to be there, who's excited, who's really on board with the company in person. In Zoom, someone can fake a 30-minute phone call. They can fake an hour phone call. They can fake it through the computer. But when you're with somebody 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, they cannot fake if they are not fired up and excited. So what you can see is you'll see employees are really excited, and then it'll drop off, and you'll say, I wonder why they're not on board. What's going on? You're able to get ahead of those potential employees of saying, hey, I'm leaving because of X, Y, and Z. I quit. Well, I can have those conversations and maybe help that individual maybe change what they're doing. Maybe I didn't know that they didn't like what they were doing. Maybe they wanted to do something else. I don't know, but I can have those conversations because I can feel the lack of engagement that they're having because they're in the office. Okay, so I believe that you go to work, you look nice, you look presentable, and you go to work, and then it helps from the employee standpoint. From my viewpoint, I really do think that if I'm going to the office every day, if I was not the employer and I'm going to the office every day, I can prove that I deserve a raise. I can prove that I deserve that bonus because I'm showing up every day. I'm giving a great effort. And you can easily see who's an A player and who's a C player when you're in the office. Over Zoom, it's very speculative, and it's really hard to find that out. So I 100% agree that companies are going to bring people back to the office because they really want to know who is working at their company and how they can keep them engaged and keep them on board and motivated and excited for work. So I agree. I think I'm part of the 90% where I'm like, hey, we want to continue to bring people in the office. We want to build an office culture, and I think most companies agree with that too. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this type of content, I post a lot of content on how to start businesses, how to grow businesses, and I would be happy if you liked and subscribe.